Okay. First, I guess I want to apologize, guys, for not having more video feeds for you to think about. It's been my intention, but things have been getting a little bit busy just with trying to finish staff hiring and all the retreats that are happening here. So I apologize for that. I'm going to try to do these weekly from here on out, just to kind of begin to prepare you mentally for the summer. So I guess without too much more, I want to announce I did make some final decisions on the quads and the pairings. So I'll announce those now, and maybe you're a little bit nervous, but I don't have a drum roll for you, so you'll just have to watch this. So what I'd like this summer, and the way I've got it scheduled, I don't have the quads worked out yet, and who's going to be in your quad. I should have that hopefully by the end of this week that I can send you. But here are the leaders of each quad. So I have quad number 1 will be Josh Roth and Allie Roth. Josh gave me money to make that decision, so that's just the way it is. But there will be quad 1, which will be older camp. Quad 2, which is also older camp, will be Taylor Jensen and Lindsay Clegg. Quad number 3, which will be younger camp, will be John Michelle and Annika Boosman. And quad number 4, that will also be younger camp, will be Eric Smith and Mia Pearson. So you guys can get a hold of each other. If you need emails, let me know. I'll certainly send those to you. But beginning to talk and make plans as far as a quad would be a great step in kind of becoming solid leaders of that group. And also, obviously, coming up with your quad name. Keep in mind the summer theme is no compromise. If you need some input or ideas on that, I'd be glad to give you a little bit of steering, but I think you guys will be all right with that. So, leadership, I talked a little bit about leadership, and we're going to continue on that topic, but I want to challenge you this time with this video feed on the thought of doing and being. Certainly leadership has to do with both of those parts, and in certain cases some might involve more doing than being, or maybe the opposite. Some might involve more being than doing. But certainly a leader has to have those two parts to be successful. Being involves not only grasping the knowledge of being a leader and grasping the skills needed to be a leader, it also involves just your character and your demeanor. Being involves what you've been brought up to understand or know, what you've been taught. Being is very important because it shapes a lot of times how you will do. Now, a leader, a successful leader, is not one who just stands there and is the being part. They're not the ones that just stand there and say, look at me, I'm the higher position, I am the leader. That certainly isn't it. A successful leader is also a very successful servant, which involves the doing. I expect leaders on our camp to serve beyond the limits, to serve not only the ones that are on your equal level or even your superiors, but also your subordinates. As I may have mentioned in the previous feed, I don't see our staff as a pyramid shape. I don't see everybody leading up and pointing up to the top person. In fact, the very opposite should happen. That top person should be carrying the weight of everything that is he or she is responsible for, which involves the doing. So I want you guys to put that into practical thinking. What does it mean when you are being a leader and doing a leader? What are the practicalities of being equal in both those sides of leadership this summer? Not only being an example, both morally, maturity, and spiritually, but how are you going to represent those? How are you going to carry those out? How are you going to do things that are morally right? How are you going to make those right decisions? How are you going to think those through based on what you know of what you would do or our expectations as a camp of you? Because there's going to get times where somebody will ask you, I don't know what to do. Should I do this? Should I do that? You need to sort through that. The other things that you can think of about doing is being an example. We've got a lot of actions and activities planned. Be that leader that is out there doing what we ask. following that schedule, encouraging others to follow along. At times maybe that involves stepping out and saying, hey, why aren't you being involved? But that's part of leadership too, is just the discipline of carrying out and getting others involved too. So being and doing, thinking about that. Think what kind of leader you're going to be this summer when it comes to those two parts of leadership. All right, thanks.